Hello. So we're coming towards the end of May, and this is our last formal practice in our Mindfulness in May adventure. There will be another short informal practice coming your way. But for the moment, the practice I'm welcoming you today is a practice in which we'll kind of explore different ways of being in the present moment. For me, mindfulness is really about developing the capacity to be with and to be aware of whatever is going on within me and around me in this moment. And there are different ways we can do that. So today we're going to explore the possibility of shifting or toggling between focused attention, which is where I direct my attention in a certain way. I direct my attention towards the breath, or I direct my attention towards the sounds or bodily sensations. So that's focused attention. And the other possibility is a more open awareness, where I don't direct my attention anywhere. I just sit here and notice, well, what comes into my awareness. Maybe a sound, maybe a physical sensation, maybe a thought, or indeed maybe the breath comes to my attention. So in both of these, the focused attention and the open awareness, both of them are passive. We're not trying to change anything. We're not trying to change our breath, or obviously we're not trying to change the sounds. However, the open awareness is a little bit, it's even more passive, as it were, because it's very receptive. In the focused attention, we're doing something. We're making a deliberate effort to direct our attention. Now, in the open awareness, we're also making a deliberate effort to notice what comes our way, but we are less directive. Let's say it's a different kind of effort. It's a different kind of attention. But let's get started. Best thing to do is just to do it. So as always, it's important to be really physically comfortable. So again, I'm going to assume you're sitting in a chair. And as you settle, just begin to notice, and you can go on settling and organizing yourself as I talk, but just beginning to notice your feet. Ideally, your feet are flat on the floor. Just maybe you can notice the soles of your feet settling into the soles of your shoes. Or maybe you're not wearing shoes and the feet are settling directly into the floor. Sensing the weight of the legs and feet as they settle. And your seat settling into the seat of the chair. Noticing your back, maybe your back is resting into the back of the chair. And maybe not, maybe you're sitting upright without the support of the chair. Maybe you could notice which parts of your back are touching the chair and which parts aren't. Notice where your hands are resting. Maybe one is holding the other. Maybe they're resting separately. If they're comfortable, leave them where they are. If they need to change, just let them shift and find a comfortable place to rest. Then a feeling of settling. The hands and also the arms and the shoulders settling. Noticing your eyes, bringing the attention up to your face. Maybe your eyes are open, maybe your eyes are lightly closed. Just noticing. Your face and your jaw. Maybe there's a little potential to soften around the eyes or soften around the jaw. Maybe they're already soft. Just noticing. Noticing now the whole front of your body and the whole back of the body. Just aware of the whole body, this living, breathing body that's sitting here. Becoming aware of the breath. Again, it's always a little challenging not to change or control the breath, but to whatever degree you can, just letting the breath do the breathing and becoming aware of it. Becoming curious and interested. Where do you feel the breath as it comes and goes? There's no right or wrong way to experience the breath. Maybe you feel the flow of breath along your nostrils. Maybe you're more aware of movement in your chest as the breath comes and goes. Or maybe you're aware of movement in the abdomen. Maybe your belly is moving as the waves of breath keep coming and going. Or maybe you have a sense of breath in the whole body. Maybe you just have an awareness, whole body sitting here, and the breath coming and going. So in your own way, just sitting here, noticing and feeling in your body the waves of breath as they come and go. One breath at a time. Now, of course, your mind will wander. You might suddenly realize that you're planning the rest of your day. Or maybe you're going back over a conversation you had earlier. Or thinking of something on the news or something that you're watching on TV. So of course the mind will wander, and that's not a mistake. It's really good when you notice that. It's really a moment of mindfulness. When you notice that the mind has wandered, just do your best to gently escort your attention back to the breath. And again, for a little longer, with renewed energy, see if you can just follow and feel the movement of breath somewhere in your body as the waves of breath keep coming and going. Again and again, the mind might wander, maybe to something internal like a physical sensation, or possibly something external like a sound in the environment. But very often we just disappear into the world of thinking. We drift into the past, or we drift into the future. And all of this is completely normal. So each time the mind wanders and each time you notice it, that's a moment of success, a moment of mindfulness. Oh, I had drifted into the past. Or, oh, I had drifted into the future. Or, I was distracted by a sudden sound in the environment. So just maybe notice where you were. Sometimes you won't know where you were, but it's really good to notice where you were and then come back. And now I'm going to suggest that you just let the breath shade away into the background. And for a little while, just listening to whatever sounds are around you. Again, you might be sitting in a place where there's lots going on, traffic on the road, things happening in the rest of the building, birds singing. Or you might be in a very quiet place where there's really just silence. You're listening to the occasional sound breaking through the silence. But for the next little while, just feeling this is the practice for the moment. Listening to whatever sounds come your way. Not trying too hard, so you're not going out to look for the sounds, but you just sit here and noticing which sounds come to you. And again, the sounds might not be particularly interesting, or the sounds might not be very varied. So it's easy to lose interest. And again, you might find that your mind is wandering off to the future or the past or something more interesting than the sounds. Again, if you notice that, it's a really good opportunity to just come back to the task in hand. See if you can gently escort your attention back to the sounds with a feeling that you have nothing else in the world to do. Just listening to whatever sounds come your way. And now I'm going to suggest that you move into a different phase of the practice and just sitting here and notice whatever you notice. So you're no longer making the effort to stay with the breath or stay with the sounds. Just notice what happens. Sitting here, maybe a sound comes to your attention. Maybe a physical sensation, like I'm noticing that my hands are warm. I'm noticing the soles of my feet against the soles of my shoes. My eyes happen to be open, so I'm noticing a little tree outside the window. There's a gentle breeze blowing through the leaves. And there's a sound of the fridge just humming away in the background. So in this way, just sitting, maybe you'll notice a physical sensation. Maybe you'll notice a thought shows up. And sometimes a thought will bring along an emotion. Maybe it's a pleasant thought, or maybe it's an unpleasant thought. And maybe you'll find your attention comes back to the breath. Maybe you notice the rhythm of breath changes, and that brings you back to the breath. Sitting here, just noticing whatever comes to your awareness. So you're awake, you're alert, and you're just gently curious. What will I notice next? Sometimes this open awareness can be a little bit challenging because for some of us it's easier to direct our attention. So if you feel a little bit kind of without an anchor, sometimes it's an idea just to keep mentally noting. Like I'm noticing just a little itch in my right foot. I'm noticing the sound of the fridge. I'm noticing the thought that I have to make a phone call at 2 o'clock. I'm noticing again a slight change of my breath, a deeper breath. So it might be helpful just to keep mentally noting whatever is coming to your awareness. Now, as we come towards the end of this practice, I'm going to suggest that you just come back to the breath for a little while. Just here you are, this living, breathing body. The breath has been coming and going since you got up this morning, while you were sleeping last night. And the breath has been coming and going while you were exploring the possibility of open awareness. But now again, you're directing your attention, doing your best just to follow and to feel the waves of breath as they come and go, one breath at a time. In a few moments, I'm going to ring the bell and the practice will be over. So just aware of that, that you don't have to make a sudden transition, just gradually letting go of any effort you've been making to follow the breath. And now I'm going to suggest that as you move out of the practice, as you continue to make this transition from practice to the rest of your day, just see if you can notice how you move. Maybe you have a stretch and a yawn. Maybe you look around the room. Maybe you put your shoes on again. Just see if you can maintain a kind of just a gentle mindfulness of how you make this transition. In fact, keeping this kind of little running commentary going for as long as you can. Now I'm standing up, now I'm doing whatever, and just see if you can maintain a little mindful commentary of how you move back into the flow of your day. So thank you for joining me.